The simplest way to connect with us is via our website, tommattshow.com, where you can find a redesigned, simpler page, YouTube, new presences right there, a couple of big buttons for you to easily find the @RFZ and the Tom Matt Show, because we have the two channels, Facebook, Tom Matt Show, Instagram, Twitter. They're all the same. Our mission is to build an engaged society and team. We want to connect with all of you. So whichever social media is your flavor, whatever you like, please drop us a note. We respond to every message and we want to connect with all of you. So please do. The Refinement Zone is all about community, collaboration, and cooperation. The 3 C's. I just found that in one of my books. I knew that I came up with that a long time ago, but I actually had it in one of my books because I'm rereading one of my books as I was talking about. Community, collaboration, and cooperation. It's the meaning of everything, you guys. The RFZ and the Tom Matt Show channels are working great, and I hope you can go there and check those out. Small little pieces of what we're doing, and I break up the radio program podcast into digestible chunks, and you can go get the whole thing if you'd like, audio and or video. Doug Resseguie is with us today. Doug is my friend. He is a very knowledgeable guy. He covers a lot of different categories and topics, calling this one balance. He's typically our hunter, non-hunter, and we're going to dive into the hunter, non-hunter stuff now, because the Comfort Crisis book is what we framed all of this around. And that's a book that Doug recommended to me by Michael Easter. All right, my man, we've been wandering the road here. Time to get into the nitty gritty for the next couple of segments. Let's get into it. Let's talk about it. Balance. Your segments, brother. Go ahead.
Well, thinking of what you've been talking about leading up here, you've referenced hunting and you've referenced my skill set for places like what you see behind me, which is a picture of about 12,000 foot up in the mountains in Colorado. One of my favorite places to watch sunsets when I'm elk hunting. But how I think this segment ties in and your topic ties in is that hunting, if you're not talking about hunting for animals or things, is just searching. And everyone in life, I think, is searching for happiness, a sense of balance, a well-being. Possibly at this time of the day when we're recording, they might be searching for their lunch or some food, or so it's a process of looking for something. And then how good are you at observing signs, and where can you read the game trail? The game trail of life is flow. What's happening around you. Are you keyed into that? Are you paying attention? And so really with this book, what struck me really a lot from the author's comments, a couple things struck me as overarching themes I wanted to share with you. And that is, prior to the last 100 years, or maybe the last 120 years, most of humanity and society has literally had some proportional relationship with struggle and or effort. And I'm going to use the word effort as opposed to struggle, because struggle always sounds negative, but it just means applying effort. And so the reason that I say that is that as we've gotten into this modern generation, one of the things we've done is we've learned how to commercialize things. A lot of the jobs and the work that people did that might have been agrarian, farming by nature, very industrial, meaning heavy labor intensive, have switched to information, knowledge-based. And so what we're seeing is that people are having different levels of effort that they apply. So I work in information technology right now, as well as being a teacher, a faculty member teaching business. So I don't struggle the way I did when I was working for my dad's company when I was younger. He was a logger, and I worked in the logging industry. It was very labor intensive. But at the end of the day, the question is, do you feel good about what you did? And what we're seeing is that there's a relationship, and I've heard you say this before because you're a personal trainer. If you get up every day and you do, whether you go for a walk, whether you do your stretches, you do activity has a way of finding a sense of mental health and well-being, because you get your blood flowing, you get oxygen in your blood, you get thinking, your brain gets active, whether you go to that morning spin class or that morning yoga class. And that's part of the routine that people use to sort of regulate the other stresses or efforts, challenges that you have in your day, which sometimes can be unplanned. And way back in 2020, when we dealt with the pandemic, and I remember having a conversation, I think it was with Dave DeMarco, where we talked about how the world seemed to have flipped on its head or flipped upside down. And I said, if you go outside and you look, whether it's daytime and the sun's in the sky, or it's nighttime and the moon and the stars are out, they're going to be here tomorrow. So let's just scale back the lens that we're looking at everything and realize that some things may have feel like they changed a lot. But what we're really talking about is how much perception of change are we seeing? And then how are we adapting to that to give our life a sense of balance? And I want to pause because it looks like you got something you want to say there.
No, I'm just taking down notes because everything you're saying is so spot on. But I like the term regulate and the perception of change. Everything comes down to the perceptions, Doug. I mean, it's same thing with the comfort crisis, because Michael Easter was talking about kind of an office guy who goes on this month-long trip with a couple of professional hunters, and a month long in Alaska. And it was just all of the physicality and that perception that was in the book of what the heck they had to do, and packing out all that when the guy finally got his animal. And then it's like, because I've never done it, and you know that I'm that guy who is the non-hunter of this duo here. It just, I find it interesting. So everything you said, different levels of effect and activities, everything adds up. I mean, it's all compounding.